All right, we'd like to welcome the 6 candidates for the council at large positions. And again, a random draw was conducted prior to the event to determine who would start first with a 2-minute opening statement. And so we will start with Ms. Keppel.
Am I on? Can you hear me okay? Okay. Well, good evening. I'm Lakewood City Council member and City Council President, Sarah Keppel. I'm so excited to be with you here tonight for this great tradition of civic engagement brought to us by the League and the Chamber. I began my lifelong career in public service right upstairs in the Children's and Youth Department, leading Weekend Wonder story times. As my library career advanced through school and public libraries in the region, I observed that students served by lower funded schools were not receiving equitable access to technology education. As the daughter of 2 public school teachers, I looked to creatively address the gap, and I began offering tech ed classes for youth at my branch, and before long I was leading them throughout the 47 branches of the Cuyahoga County Public Library System. Wanting to take more learning to more people and more places, I launched my technology education business, GigaLearn, in 2014. That innovative spirit was very handy when I joined City Council in 2020. Less than a month later, I wrote my first ordinance and worked with the city's IT department to ensure that council could meet remotely so that we never missed a meeting, enabling the city of Lakewood to quickly allocate federal funding for rent relief, small business support, and first responders. I championed e-comment and closed captioning on council meetings videos and created videos to help residents understand current advisories and connect with local resources. I served on the Small Business Task Force, organized the Restaurant Roundtable, and initiated curbside express parking to help small businesses adapt to changing consumer behavior in a time of crisis. Now we are once again facing a time of crisis. I am running to ensure that Lakewood has strong, experienced, effective leadership rooted in our shared values. Thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you, Ms. Keppel. And now we will have Ms. Urbanik for her 2-minute opening.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to participate in the League of Women Voters Candidate Forum. I have lived in Lakewood for 20 years and have immersed myself in the community through my daily work and my volunteer efforts. I've spent the past 12 years getting to know the residents of this amazing community. I've had the pleasure of doing that through my work with Lakewood Alive for 10 years and now Barton Communities for the past 2. I have worked in all 4 corners of this city and have gotten to know the residents from all walks of life. My experience is unique. I have been in over 2,000 homes in this city, working with residents to help them understand how their homes work and make improvement plans for the future, making their hopes and dreams come true. I have worked through the Paint Lakewood program to reduce lead hazards in over 200 homes and helped to orchestrate over 500 volunteer projects to help those who just needed a little extra help. I have worked with the team to host large-scale events like Lakewood Summer Meltdown and Light Up Lakewood for tens of thousands of people annually, which I now continue to do with Lakewood Alive as a volunteer. My career has focused on meeting folks where they're at, as well as building relationships with people, organizations, and community groups, which has been integral to my success. If elected to City Council, I will take the past 20 years of experience, relationship building, and elbow grease to work to make a big impact in Lakewood. My efforts will be focused on creating open communication between city administration and residents, affordable housing programs that will make Lakewood accessible for all who wish to live here, economic development to support our current small businesses and merchant groups, and work to welcome new and diverse businesses within our borders. I will also focus on pedestrian and bike safety, ensuring all people can get to and from. I will use my knowledge and experience to benefit the community on a new level and work to keep Lakewood accessible to all who wish to be here.
Thank you, Ms. Urbanik. Now we will hear from Mr. Ventura.
Good evening. A little nervous, but I'm very excited to be here tonight. I want to thank the League of Women Voters and Lakewood Chamber of Commerce for giving us this space to talk about our city's future. My name is Brian Ventura and I'm running for Lakewood City Council. I've lived on Matthews Avenue for 27 years I'm a neighbor, a dad, and I'm proud to call Lakewood home. Some of my friends said I'm not a true Lakewoodite because I didn't grow up here. That's true, but 27 years ago, I chose Lakewood. I built my life here and raised my family here, and this community became my home. I have work in business analytics, and I have a good understanding of data, analyzing problems and focusing on effective solutions. I'm running because I love this city, and I want to keep it working for the people who built their lives here, working families, seniors, and longtime residents. This year, I've had some best conversations of my life at football games, block parties, community events, and on front porches. I've asked neighbors what they care about most and what they want improved. And I started to see a clear picture of what Lakewood residents need. Better communication from our city, affordable and stable housing, safer streets, and well-maintained sidewalks. Those talks reignited my passion for this work and reminded me why I'm running, to make sure neighbors' voices lead the way. I'm running because what my family taught me, work hard, be honest, and help people who can't help themselves. And I'll always stand up for those working families because that's who I came from. My main focuses are transparency, affordability, and safety. I want to make sure that information is easy to find and understand, from emergency text alerts to plain language updates on policies. Affordability, Lakewood shouldn't price out the people who built it. We need smart housing policy to keep families and seniors
Thank you,
here.
Mr. Ventura.
Thank you.
Now we will have Mr. Bullock.
Good evening. Thank you to the Lakewood Chamber, the League of Women Voters. I'm Tom Bullock, and it's been my distinguished honor to serve since 2008, helping Lakewood travel a remarkable journey from fiscal jeopardy to financial strength, to beautified parks, refurbished storefronts, new local businesses, and strengthened home quality, expanded discrimination protections, and investments in walkability, cycling, tree conservation, and affordable energy, to name a few. In my years of working for you, I've always sought to keep Lakewood safe, clean, family-friendly, and welcoming to all, to make us a model walking city with sustainability, to support artisan local businesses, and to budget responsibly while improving city government. Today, we face new challenges: high price for housing, repeated power outages, pedestrian safety concerns, and a federal government that does no longer treat its partnership with local governments as something serious and reliable. And I'm running for re-election to protect and continue the progress we've achieved in Lakewood together. I've served during Lakewood's hard times, and I've been part of the team that helped to guide it through. When I first ran for council, people said Lakewood's changing, and I said, great. They said, well, no, that's a bad thing. They were worried that we were going in the wrong direction. Today, people say Lakewood's changing, and it's a vibrancy, and maybe it's a little too much on the housing prices, and we have some work to do to make sure that we can maintain diversity, socioeconomic diversity, which is the keystone that leads to all other kinds of diversity. But we've come a long ways. I don't think we should consider it as a guarantee that Lakewood will always have progress. We had to fight and work and scratch and claw for every bit of that. I'm looking forward to talking with you tonight about the next steps to continue that progress.
Thank you, Mr. Bullock. Now we'll hear from Ms. Hamilton Steiner.
Good evening, Lakewood voters. I'm here before you today as an incumbent, having received the unanimous appointment by Lakewood City Council this past January. I'm running to keep my seat to continue to serve you, because Lakewood faces challenges and will continue to face challenges that will take courage and innovation to address. From housing affordability, to challenges in our ability to home rule, to impacts of climate change. We need leaders that have the skills to manage and lead. The manner in which I will bring solutions to solve some of Lakewood's biggest challenges is to have an intersectional and entrepreneurial spirit and mindset, bringing my skills to problem solving, proactive leadership, communication, collaboration, and creativity. You may have seen evidence of my skill set, presenting an alternative response to violence through the implementation of a grassroots effort to increase and redefine safety in our parks, also known as Madison Court Community Coalition, or MC3. Establishing and setting a model and structure for a differing way of board and commission engagement through service with the Anti-Racism Task Force. Serving as advocate and pushing for advancement of an action plan in response to the Community Health Needs Assessment and advocating for ranked choice voting through service on the Charter Review Commission, and ultimately its recommendation of ranked choice voting to Lakewood City Council. I want to continue to advocate and advance good solutions for Lakewood's challenges. I want to bring to the forefront efforts I have been working on prior to my appointment to council, and also to bring my years of experience with youth programming, my work with the justice system, grants management, and budget management to council. Some of my priorities in my first 4 years will include, but will not be limited to, investment in our public spaces and parks, increase women and minority-owned businesses, support for vulnerable community members, advance safe and accessible transportation for all, and keep Lakewood livable. My priorities are not exhaustive and will be amended as the needs of our community changes. I will make it a priority first and foremost to listen and be responsive and pivot when needed. Listening does not always mean agreement, and being heard is not always about a gap going one way or another.
Thank you. And finally, we will hear from Mr. Higgins.
Good evening, friends and neighbors. My name is Brian Higgins, and I'm running for Lakewood City Council because I believe every resident deserves leadership that listens, acts, and puts our community needs first. I've made my home here, like many of you. I've seen the challenges we face. Housing that's out of reach for far too many, streets that don't always feel safe for everyone, and the risk of losing the cornerstone of our neighborhoods, our local schools. Here's how I would help us move forward. I'll push to responsibly lower the inside millage rate so homeowners see real relief, while also strengthening the first-time homebuyer programs and supporting rental assistance efforts that keep longtime residents rooted in our community. Safety is about more than just enforcement, it's about design. I'll fight for more crosswalks, speed calming infrastructure, and better lighting, while ensuring public safety resources are focused where they're most needed, so everyone can get where they're going safely. Our schools are our community anchors, and I will work to keep them open, supported, and accessible to all children. Education close to home builds stronger neighborhoods and protects the value of our city long term. This campaign is about solutions, not politics. It's about building on what already makes Lakewood strong, our vibrant neighborhoods, great schools, and people who care about one another. But we also face real challenges: rising housing costs, streets that need to be safer, and the loss of schools that holds our neighborhoods together. That's why I believe it's time for fresh leadership at City Hall. Someone who listen, bring energy, and make sure residents have a real voice at the table in all decisions that are made.
Thank you. And now we will go to the first question. Each candidate has 1 minute to answer, and we will start with Mr. Bay. What are the priority issues facing our community, and how would you address them if elected?
So I think the biggest issue that is facing Lakewood is affordability. We need to find creative ways to address that issue. We need to keep families here. That's both owner occupants and renters. And I know that there are creative, simple solutions that we can do, simple things day one that can make change to make our communities more accessible. We can work to revamp our down payment assistance program. Currently, it cannot be used based on the purchase price. The purchase price for a house is $140,000. The maximum purchase price. There are no homes in Lakewood unless it's something that needs a lot of work, and that would not be great for a first-time home buyer. So we need to find some common sense advocacy efforts that we can make change there. Working with landlords, trying to get more use of the housing choice voucher system would be great to get more families into affordable rentals. Landlords would get maximum rents, and our renters would be able to pay 30% of their income, which is what everyone should be paying for accessible housing in our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ventura.
Thank you. That's a great question, and I appreciate the opportunity to be direct. I'm not going to pretend to have answers. This is my first time running for any type of office, but I think it's important that we focus on three main pillars that I've heard from the community. I've physically gone door to door, knocking on doors, handing out literature, and I've heard about more transparency from City Hall. It's not that they're not transparent, but how to get the information. It's very difficult to find meeting notes, understand those notes. So that's one issue that I think we should look at resolving. And everyone's gonna say affordability on housing, and that is true, and that is something that we need to work at, especially for our seniors who have lived in this community for a long time. I pledge to proactively engage with City Hall, council members, and most importantly, the community. I want community engagement, and I want people to feel that they're actively involved in what's happening within the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Bullock?
I agree with affordable housing, but to show some variety, I'll say pedestrian safety, which is so tied to something that I've really committed to, which is walking my kids to school. I've got 3 kids at Grant Elementary, and my middle kid especially wants to walk every day, which is great because he'll talk to me, he'll talk to his friends, I get to talk to the other parents, and we all connect. But we also walk through some areas with real safety problems and concerns. We've been improving that, but I think not fast enough. Now, there's some good work by my colleagues on council and with my full support to begin further investments, but we've got to increase those. I also want to say a part of the housing challenge is Lakewood city government can and should do more to get more school-age kids in our homes so that we're doing our part for our partners at the schools, that they have the school enrollment to support the decisions that they have to make.
Thank you. Ms. Hamilton Stein?
So I think that, thank you. So in terms of the priorities, I definitely think that affordable housing is a priority. And actually in 2019, the city did do an affordable housing strategy. And in 2023, there was an affordable housing scenario planning action report that was done in partnership with the Lincoln Institute of Land Policy. Now my question is, where are we at with those plans? What is the status report of that, and what have we done and what investments have been made? So I will be working with my council colleagues to bring this conversation back up and address this with the administration and find out exactly where we are with these plans. I don't think that we should make action plans and not do anything about those. I think it's important, so that is a solution that I'm gonna work on, is find out what do we already have, what have we invested money on, and make sure those plans are brought to life.
Thank you. Mr. Higgins?
I've had the pleasure of knocking on thousands of my neighbors' doors over the past 9 months. And there's 3 things that always come up. Property taxes. As a council member, I would immediately, within 6 months, put legislation forth to lower our inside millage rate by 5%. That put money back in everyone's pockets, the ones who need it the most. Transparency and communication has also been brought up. I pledge to hold monthly board meetings to keep everyone here informed and knowledgeable of what's going on at your city hall. And streets are another big issue. Council controls capital spending. I would invest in smart technology, speed bumps where they're needed, where the data shows the most speeding. I would also ask the Lakewood Police to enforce traffic a little bit better.
Okay, thank you. And finally, Ms. Keppel?
Thank you. So 3 areas. One is safe streets. During my time on council, I served as the council liaison to the ADA Transition Plan Task Force, voted to enact the Active Transportation Plan and Safe Streets for All Plan, and co-sponsored Complete Streets legislation, all of which taken together will improve our right-of-way infrastructure to protect our most vulnerable users, kids biking to school, seniors, and people with disabilities. Also, the safety to live authentic lives. I voted to establish the Anti-Racism Task Force, allocated funding to developing the city's first racial equity plan, and recently introduced a gender freedom policy to affirm the city's commitment to expression and healthcare for all. Finally, in regards to safe and affordable housing, we've allocated funds for legal aid assistance for renters experiencing housing issues, passed legislation to allow for accessory dwelling unit, and successfully moved a lot of development projects ahead to increase the number of units.
Thank you. And we have a second question here that we're going to start with Mr. Ventura. How do you plan to advance Lakewood's sustainability plan, including trees and parks? Let me repeat that. How do you plan to advance Lakewood's sustainability plan, including trees and parks? Mr. Ventura.
As I mentioned going into this, I don't have answers for everything. The big focus of mine is community engagement. I go door to door, I listen to people, getting those people involved. I'm willing to listen on these issues and better understand how they're affecting residents. I have not heard any issues or complaints about how we're doing things with city and parks. You know, I think things are being done well there, but, you know, that's another thing that we can discuss as we move moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Bullock?
This is one of my passions and it's my career, as a matter of fact. So full-time I work as Citizens Utility Board Executive Director. We work on utility bills, like your electricity bill, like our good friends at First Energy who charge you but don't always provide reliable power. But with former Mayor Mike Summers, we partnered to put solar arrays on 4 city-owned buildings. And for the rest of the power, we buy 100% clean power through NOPEC, our power supply, and that's been for years now, for more than 5 years. In addition, one of the things I'm most proud of is that we facilitated NOPEC defaulting to 100% clean power. That's an option that you may choose. Most of us do, more than 60% of the homes and businesses in Lakewood do. That's been for the last 2-3 years, 100% clean power with no effort from you, and it's been saving you money compared to the utility.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Higgins?
Can you repeat the question?
Oh, I'm sorry. No mistake, a form. This is it.
Yes, and can you repeat the question?
Yes.
Thank you.
Ms. Hamilton Steiner, how do you plan to advance Lakewood's sustainability plan, including trees and parks?
So, I guess there's 2 aspects to that. There's the climate action plan, that's essentially the sustainability plan, but then there's also, we have, for example, Madison Park has the Madison Park Master Plan. So those are 2 areas that I'm actually currently working on, and working with administration to advance pieces of those plans. So I'm actually working with a group of residents that have put together a proposal. We've been working together to present to the administration to roll out a citywide composting plan, a citywide composting program, and to expand our existing composting, which actually ironically is happening at our Lakewood schools already. So that is how I plan to advance the sustainability plan, is looking at low-hanging actions that we can take and working with the administration to put those together and bringing together interested residents that would like to be a part in making that happen.
Thank you. And now we have Mr. Higgins.
So, I'm not familiar with this question. I've lived in this city for a decade and a half. I think this goes back to the transparency and communication from City Hall. So how I would move forward with a sustainability plan, I would go to my neighbors and I would ask them to meet for a forum where we would collaborate together and get ideas how to best move Lakewood forward sustainably. I believe in solar power. That's all I know on that plan. I'm not familiar with it, wasn't aware of it. We'd work together to come up with a plan. I need your help. I don't have all the answers. I rely on community. I believe when everybody has a voice at the table, a seat at the table, and your voices are heard, it leads to better outcomes for us all.
Thank you. Ms. Keppel?
Thank you. Could you repeat the question one more time?
Yes. How do you plan to advance Lakewood's sustainability plan, including trees and parks?
Okay, great. I just want to make sure I understood correctly. So our climate action plan is extensive. Some of the things we've been working on and will continue to work on with our Complete Streets initiative, that also includes our tree canopy goals. I see some members of the Tree Education Advisory Board here. So we've been working hard to expand that tree canopy, as well as make it safer for people to use non-fossil fuel transportation methods like walking and biking and e-bikes. So that's part of the Complete Streets also. We're also working on zoning code changes. We've already pushed through some that makes it easier for you to install solar panels. We're working on additional zoning code refresh that'll touch on multiple parts of the climate action plan. The Madison Park Master Plan, like we mentioned. Bernice Pike Park, we're hoping to do some refresh there, where I'm hoping we'll have some of those capabilities. And then again, we're introducing a budget priority for the statewide, citywide composting program.
Thank you. Mr. Bansky?
So I had the pleasure of serving on the Clean Water Task Force many years ago, and that really shows the dedication that Lakewood has to sustainability. We have been working with the EPA to reduce our sewer going into the lake, which is wonderful. We've made a lot of improvements, and I know that all the things that have been mentioned, the composting program, as well as the tree education advisory board. I have a free birch tree coming in a couple of weeks. I'm very excited. And so we are very fortunate to live in a community that prioritizes sustainability. I know that solar panels are being looked at on many municipal buildings as well as high-rise buildings that are in this community. We need to continue to make sure that the sustainability plan is put into all of the work that we are doing across the community, as well as supporting programs like the tree giveaway and the park master plans that are being developed as we speak with Madison Park as well as other parks across the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we will have your closing statements. Each candidate has 2 minutes for their closing statements, and we're going to start with Mr. Bull.
Thank you. To add to the previous answers, solar on my own roof for some years, and also the city needs to staff the climate action plan commitment. We've lost that employee, and so it's a valid concern that we're not implementing it. I want to thank everyone. Actually, I was remiss at the beginning. Thank all of you for being here. This is a hallmark of Lakewood that so many residents and of our neighbors care and show up. So it's an honor truly to serve all of you. I wanted to say, my background is Washington, D.C., Capitol Hill service. I also have the privilege of working for Ohio's United States Senator on the campaign, a governor candidate, a lieutenant governor candidate, and I've worked my whole career in public service. And so that's at the federal level, state level, and the local level. And so the reason I bring that up is, got the knowledge to get things done for you. And even though I've been around for a while, I work with the energy of a person who's on their first day on the job. I return your phone call, I listen, and I'll get after the problem. There's an old saying that City Hall, you can't fight City Hall, not on my watch. I think the people should be in charge. And I also think, back to my point before, that nobody should assume that progress is inevitable. No city elected official or any community leader should also think that. We should not revert to the mean. We've got to understand that the reason Lakewood's been moving forward is because our community leadership, and that's nonprofits as well as governments, schools as well as the city, have been connecting with some of the best and the brightest in our community. We've got to engage, respond, listen, not close our door to the public. And I think that if we continue on that vein, the human capital, the intelligence, and the community spirit of this lake will overcome anything.
Thank you. Ms. Hamilton Steiner.
I am Angelina Hamilton Steiner, and I humbly ask for your vote to keep my seat on Lakewood City Council. I am a product of Lakewood, having been raised here, and I am a product of Lakewood City Schools. I am raising my children here in Lakewood, who will also be products of Lakewood City Schools. I've always been passionate about service, serving the public, and making a difference. I was the kid that volunteered throughout middle school and high school and spent countless hours serving in my church and youth group, and this passion for service continued to college and throughout early adulthood and beyond. You would say that service is in my blood, as I am the daughter of a retired Cleveland police officer. I take pride in what I have accomplished, whether it's developing, launching, and growing programming, successively fundraising, grassroots community organizing, or advocacy. It's the evidence of the skills that I bring, which is proof of my ability to lead, collaborate, build bridges, and grow partnerships. These are important skill sets for any member of council, but in particular for an at-large member of council serving an entire community. I know that with me on council, you will see results as I am driven for action and compelled to act. I look forward to continuing to bring community-driven solutions, driven by collaboration and communication, creative problem solving, rooted in professional expertise, and decisive advocacy driven by a passion for excellence. My name is Angelina Hamilton Steiner, and I am proud to serve on Lakewood City Council, and I look forward to continuing to serve.
Thank you. Mr. Higgins.
Thank you all for being here tonight. Your presence proves something important, that Lakewood is a community where people care enough to show up, speak up, and help shape our future together. I'm proud of what makes Lakewood strong, our vibrant neighborhoods, our schools, and the people who give so much of themselves to this city. At the same time, we know the challenges are real. Housing that's becoming harder to afford, streets that must be safer for everyone, and the loss of schools that hold our neighborhoods together. These challenges are a call for action and for fresh energy and a strong voice at City Hall. Democracy just doesn't happen in Washington. It starts right here in Lakewood. The decisions made at City Hall affects our lives every day. Together, we can make housing more affordable, create safer, more accessible streets, and to keep our schools strong. I believe the best solutions come from listening to residents, parents, seniors, small business owners, because you know what works and what doesn't. My commitment is to make sure your voices are not only heard, but are acted on, with real solutions that make life in Lakewood a little bit better. Lakewood is more than where we live. It's our home, our neighborhoods, and our future. I'm running for city council because I believe every resident deserves leadership that listens, acts, and puts our community first. It's time for a fresh voice at City Hall, one that takes on tough issues, delivers real results, and ensures residents are at the center of each decision that is made. On November 4th, I humbly ask for your vote and the opportunity to serve with the same commitment and heart that this city has always shown to me. Together, we can keep Lakewood strong and make it even stronger for the generations ahead of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Keppel.
Thank you. And thank you to the League and the Chamber for organizing this valuable event. And thank you all for being here tonight or watching the video later, for taking the time for civic engagement and making informed voting decisions. 6 years ago, it was many of you, my fellow Lakewood engaged citizens, who encouraged me to apply for the vacancy on City Council. And 4 years ago, I was honored to receive the highest vote count to retain my City Council at large seat. I felt called to serve then, as I am now, because of my unique experience as a community organizer, a longtime public servant, and a small business owner. That call is now amplified by the increasingly tumultuous waters around us at the state and federal level, and the need for strong, experienced, effective leadership here at home. Council has almost completely turned over since I joined 6 years ago, and I am now one of the most seasoned veterans. At one point, I was the only woman on council, and now through my leadership, this year for the first time, Lakewood became majority female and includes the first council member of color. My council colleagues elected me as president last year because of my proven ability to organize us as a body and a community, to tenaciously stand up to the values for which we aspire, to communicate with the public, and to get things done. From starting the restaurant roundtable and initiating curbside express parking to help local businesses weather the pandemic, to working with the Americans with Disabilities Task Force to improve accessibility, to hosting council community conversations in all 4 wards, to initiating electronic public comment to allow folks to participate without having to be present, to passing legislation, to increasing the Homestead exemption to reduce water and sewer bills for seniors, to creating the Case Advisory Board to improve intersectional safety through a diverse lens of lived experiences. I've worked hard to proactively engage and better serve our Lakewood neighbors. Please vote to keep Keppel on council.
Thank you. Mr. Ban.
For nearly 2 decades, I've served Lakewood and its citizens through housing programs, nonprofit leadership, and hands-on community work. From helping older adults stay in their homes to improving neighborhood conditions and strengthening connections, I've dedicated my time to build a stronger, more inclusive Lakewood. I'm honored to have this opportunity to bring my experience and passion for this community to Lakewood City Council. I spent the summer out in the community connecting with residents and learning what impacts them the most, from hosting coffee and conversation meetings at our vibrant parks to attending block parties and door knocking. I spent this valuable time meeting with people, sharing ideas, learning which issues are most pressing, and getting to know those I hope to one day serve. I will work to make local government more accessible and inviting for residents. I will help to close the communication gap and make it feel less daunting. Through my career and personal life, I have always strived to create community. My experience speaks for itself, and now I want to bring my knowledge and passion to Lakewood City Council. My name is Allison Urbanik, and I'm asking for your vote this November for Lakewood City Council, which will allow me to continue to fight for residents from every corner of this city. I will use my knowledge and experience to benefit this community on a new level and work to keep Lakewood accessible for all who wish to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ventura.
I'm running because I believe in Lakewood and because we can do better at bringing people together. Too often, neighbors feel left out or unheard. I want a real conversation and collaboration from every corner of our city. This campaign isn't just about me, it's about us, the neighbors who show up for each other and want our city to thrive. And it's about building a more stable Lakewood for the next generation, a place our children will want to stay, invest in, and raise families of their own. On Election Day, I'm asking for your support so together we can build a stronger, fairer, more stable Lakewood, one that truly works for every resident that calls it home. Thank you again to the League of Women Voters and Lakewood Chamber of Commerce for hosting this event tonight, and thank you for each of you for coming. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'd like to thank all 6 candidates for participating in this forum and for expressing your priorities for our city. And can we give them all a round of applause?